with Cheyenne from CNA Creative Studio, but this time we're going behind the bedazzle.
That's right. We're so lucky that you brought some of the tools that you need to use to go into some of these gifts and these creations that you've made. So please show us how all of this is done.
Yes. So I always start with, this is my little work mat. This is my travel case. I take classes from Crystal Ninja, and she's been doing rhinestoning for 20 years. And this is her tool, the Crystal Katana. I just blinged mine out to make it a little more fancy.
Of course.
So what I've been working on is this MSU flask. As you see, it has the same Spartan as my purse, and then on the back I have the 1855 that has not been done yet. So again, I work with all glass rhinestones for this, and I usually just pour a few out on the table.
Are they different sizes too?
They are different sizes.
Okay.
So depending on what the project is will determine the size or what I want. So like something like the Better Made had all very different sizes. The red pinstripe are very, very tiny ones. But I also brought this as like, this is my demo to show people like I can do different fill patterns. It depends on what size that you want. How big do you want the rhinestones? Do you want them small? Do you want them tiny? Or do you want them huge? But when you do that, that adds time and that adds the cost because it takes more for smaller ones than it does for larger rhinestones.
A lot of artists will say that sometimes there's a process of trial and error whenever they're creating something. Have you ever found that you've come across that with any of your designs?
Absolutely. So the first thing I've always learned is, you know, always outline what I'm doing first.
Okay.
So like here I just laid a little bit of glue on this top edge because that's where I want to make sure like it's a clean edge and line for it. Then a lot of things also have been determined by like, am I using the correct glue for an item? So I don't always use this white glue on everything. For the shoes, that requires a very, very different glue and a different applying method. So it's not in a glue bottle, it's in a syringe.
Okay.
Oh.
That makes sense. So different techniques depending on what you are kind of bedazzling along the way. How long does it take to do something like for this flask?
It depends on the sizes, but I also have started to try to figure out like pricing based off of the time. So something like this honeycomb fill here on this top, these are in all one size. It's a honeycomb method. This takes me about 30 minutes just to do this size here. It depends on how big is the item, how small do you want it? Do you want very fine detail like the Spartan head or the Better Made 10, or do you want something like a pin? So the pins take relatively a short period of time. Those I can fly through in an hour.
Oh my gosh.
Well, what's been the most challenging thing that you've created and kind of sat down and worked with somebody to put together?
The football was the most challenging one I've done, honestly, because that design, I hand painted it, I customized the flames on it, but what I would really love to do that I'm really excited about is I have a mini fridge in my basement that I want to do the front face of it.
Oh my gosh.
That's a mini fridge.
That would be perfect. And that way it's like you can smile anytime you go into the fridge.
Yes.
Do you go into the store or do you go into like a new space? You're like, that would be really cool covered in rhinestones. That would be cool covered in rhinestones.
So the lug nuts baseball I actually found at a Goodwill.
Oh.
And it already had the lug nuts logo on it, and I was like, let's just add rhinestones to it. The Better Made tin is from their chip tin where they have the chocolate colored chips, and I was like, this would be really cool to do. I just bought a tumbler and I was like, actually, I want to cover that in rhinestones. So it just depends on what speaks to me when I'm out at the store or if I see something online.
Clearly, the sky is the limit as to what you can create, what you can bedazzle. And of course, if somebody wants you to add a little bit more sparkle in their life, how can they get a hold of you to do so?
They can reach me on my website, cacreativestudioco.com. Also, I'm on Instagram at cacreativestudioco, and we also do any upcycling. So if you have a tumbler or you have an item at home, like your own pair of shoes that you want done, you could send that over to me, and then you'll get a 20% discount because you provided the item that I don't have to go and purchase it, preferably new shoes. But then I can also then do whatever design, whatever colors, if you want a deeper fill pattern, if you want it to have a different, like smaller stones, sky's the limit.
I love that. And clearly your shine will continue to shine with others. And so thank you so much for coming in and showing us and giving us this artist approach that now we can dazzle into the new year.
I was going to say, you left a little sparkle here on Studio 10. I can't wait to see the other things that you create. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks.